Women that got karma on divorce court.
Get physical. Hit me, like push me in my face, slap me, all type of stuff.
I think you're hot-headed and that sleeping with a friend was out of anger. You're looking to hurt people. You're so insecure, you're so frightened that he's now lying about stuff that he doesn't need to lie about because he just don't want to tangle with you. But you are so small-minded and trifling that you don't even put their interests ahead of yours. How dare you be so self-centered?
Tiffany and Muhammad met each other when Muhammad was still a married man. Fast forward, Muhammad divorced his wife just so he could marry Tiffany. The poor man definitely went through a lot to be with the woman he loved. But now, 3 years down the road, things have gotten pretty rough for these two. Tiffany wants to end their marriage, but the worst part? She wants a whopping $42,000 in support. On top of that, she says Muhammad's turned into the worst.
He was a great guy. He would always come to Ohio. He would always take me shopping. I was a priority. And then things changed. When I would call him, like the first year of our marriage, when I would give him a call, and he would always answer his phone. Now he doesn't answer the phone. He's on the roof. You're always on the roof? You live on the roof. Like seriously, answer my phone calls.
But wait a second. Tiffany's trying to make Muhammad look like some bad guy. He would spoil her with his money before they got married. But now, not a single penny spent on her. But is it really fair of Tiffany to accuse Muhammad of that when the poor man's trying to work 3 jobs? It doesn't help that Tiffany didn't give Muhammad any attention until she realized he owned a huge house.
I'm working 3 jobs now, trying to keep up with her spending.
She's a little high maintenance. She told that on herself already.
I really didn't think of anything about it at the time, but now the more things come around, the more I see it.
You know, she had a long conversation over here. She only said one thing that was not money related, and that was about the phone calls.
And if that's not enough, Tiffany wants to call Muhammad 10 times a day. After the economy went down the drain, Muhammad had to start work as a construction worker. And whenever he didn't answer Tiffany's phone when he was busy, she'd start thinking he was cheating on him, when he would just be on the roof trying to earn some good money so he could support her expensive lifestyle.
What does she want when she calls you?
Just,
hey,
like she
what's
said,
going on?
just a talk. I mean, give me the price of tomatoes.
Yeah, just
Sometimes.
whatever.
You know,
But you know what? Okay,
I built her a gym. I mean, I built her a cardio room at my gym, so she knows where I'm at, and she's there.
Do that?
Yes.
Tiffany keeps saying Muhammad doesn't treat her like she's his number one, when the man built her a whole gym so she could work out at home. How much attention does she want? And you know the worst part? She's so paranoid, she's forced Muhammad to give her all of the passwords for his social media accounts. Talk about controlling, huh?
I check his Facebook and like there are women talking to him. He didn't do that in the beginning.
Well,
now.
what kind of things are these women saying?
She likes everything on his page. He's telling her about my cardio class. Like, yeah, you should work out with my wife. She's like, no, I want to work out with you. He had some city worker call his phone. He said, oh, this lady hooks me up with my permits and stuff, so I'm going to invite her out to the nightclub.
Tiffany just doesn't stop complaining. She tells Judge Toller that she wants kids of her own with Muhammad, but Muhammad keeps saying no. Why doesn't he want any kids with her? Isn't she his wife? But Muhammad makes the big reveal about his father died as a young kid, and because he has so many ongoing issues with Tiffany, he doesn't want to have a kid whose parents always keep fighting.
I grew up without a father. My father died when I was 6. I would hate to bring a child into this world with us having troubles like this, and my child would have to try to grow up without a father.
Judge Toller asks Tiffany how long it's been since their marriage turned into such back and forth head-banging on the wall kind of fights. And guess what Tiffany says? She straight up starts talking about how Muhammad would get her a new laptop or new furniture or anything she wanted. And now he just does it. Talk about a material girl.
Not about conversations that you didn't have or feelings that he hasn't been able to express, but you started talking, itemizing those things that you got. If the money had kept flowing, if you had a Mercedes, right?
I have a Mercedes. I wanted a Porsche.
I mean a Porsche. My bad. My fault.
Anyway, Judge Toller does what she does best. She calls Tiffany the biggest fool on this side of the Mississippi. She keeps complaining where Muhammad still gives her so much love. She just wants everything handed to her on a silver platter. What Tiffany needs to do is grow her heart and stop being so greedy all the damn time.
You want to have children with him, you have to show him that you are worthy to be the mother. The mother of the children does not keep her hand out. I don't think you're capable of that. And when I mean woman enough, I mean have the ability to sacrifice. Motherhood don't Porsche, motherhood SUVs. That's what it is.
After 14 long years of marriage, Consuela wants a divorce from her husband, Lauren. She says one of the biggest mistakes of her life was to marry this man. Damn, those are some harsh words. But there's a big reason for why she suddenly changed her mind about this man, and it looks like it's got something to do with her relationship with God.
I feel like I never should have married Mr. Davis. I had developed a relationship with God. One of my promises was to not have premarital sex. When I met Mr. Davis, I was immediately attracted to him. I just told God, we'll just be friends.
Bargaining with God never works out.
But then her bond with Lauren got so strong that suddenly she ended up doing the one thing she had promised God she wouldn't: have sex with Lauren. Consuela feels like she shouldn't have ever done that, compromise her religious values for a man. Does she feel like giving in to the lust she felt for Lauren made their relationship weak?
He's like, I have needs. So I went from having, God on this pedestal to taking him off and putting Lauren there. And so instead of me pleasing God, I went to pleasing Lauren.
And you think that's why you got into this relationship that was all wrong for you?
Yes.
When they had sex while they were dating, Lauren promised Consuela that he would marry her. He even brought out the Bible before they slept together so he could console Consuela that what they were doing wasn't a sin. But then he did something he shouldn't have. He went ahead and had sex with an ex. That too, right after having sex with Consuela.
Even during this courting period, you did cheat on her. Didn't you have sex with an ex?
Yeah, I did. We was engaged.
No,
and
we weren't.
Before we was engaged, I had something with someone. I did not tell her this until almost a month before we got married, and I told her.
No,
I
it
said,
wasn't.
Hang on.
Okay, you want it to be 2 months?
We-
it doesn't
we-
matter.
But this was all so long ago that Consuela even forgave him for what he did to her. The thing is, it didn't end there. During the very early days of their marriage, the two ended up having some issues again, and they decided to stay separated for a year during that time. But then, guess what Lauren did while they were living separately?
When was the first cheat?
When we were separated the first time, when I was pregnant, we were separated for maybe a year, and then we got back together because I really wanted to work the relationship out. He did not when I was pregnant. It's like, I just don't want to be married anymore, but I wanted to hang on because we were going to have a child.
Despite everything, Lauren still wanted to try. He loved Consuela so much, and he respected her Christian values, but from day one, she had made him feel like she should never have married him. She would be hot one minute and then cold the next. All the mixed signals kept messing with Lauren's head. And then, Consuela dropped the worst bomb on Lauren. She told him that she didn't want to sleep with him anymore.
She had been distant from me from the day of our marriage to that point. So when we got home, she just didn't come to bed. And so I was like, what's going on? I felt she was distant. I said, what's going on? She said, I don't want to be close to you. I don't want to touch you. And I told her that night, if you do this, it's going to make us be more distant.
Consuela keeps finding a way to blame Lauren for everything. In 2008, they ended up losing their house, and Lauren felt super bad about it. He was going through a really bad time because he had lost his job, and now there wasn't a roof over his head. But instead of being a supportive and loving wife, Consuela kept pointing fingers at Lauren, even though Lauren apologized a million times.
Go back to forgiveness. As a Christian, the Bible tells us to forgive 40, 70 times 7. That's a lot of forgiveness. I'm not asking to be forgiven that much, but that's what we do as Christians, is to forgive. God is faithful and just to forgive us of all unrighteousness. So who is she to keep judging me? Who is she to keep not forgiving me for my things? She does things also.
But all of Consuela's talk about preaching and being religious is thrown out of the window when Lauren shares how she cheated on him. Can you believe that? And she never even met Lauren halfway through. She just constantly blamed him for everything that went wrong. But Judge Toller's not holding herself back and drops the bomb. Consuela never gave the marriage a chance.
Marriage has a lot of bumps and lumps and trenches and falls and precipices everywhere. And you gotta go through them and you can't hold on to them. You're what I call an error hoarder. If he had truly caused you financial ruin, so this matter is adjourned.
Gary and Destiny have been together for a whole 4 years, but now their marriage has hit a wall. The issues keep piling up for these two. And now, Destiny wants thousands of dollars as reparation from Gary. Destiny keeps talking about saving this marriage because they've got a kid together, but at the same time, she wants to milk some money. What's more, she thinks Gary's not faithful to her.
The marriage was okay till about 6 months ago, and things started going downhill from there. First, our sex life decreased down. It went from 3 or 4 times a week to about once a week. Being that he's 36, he's a young guy, so it shouldn't decrease unless he's out there doing something.
Did you believe he was cheating on you as of 6 months ago?
Yes.
Now, what on earth made Destiny think Gary's not faithful to her? You won't believe the explanation she's cooked up inside that head of hers. She says the sex has decreased. Come on, Destiny, give the man a break. He can't keep going all day, can he? She calls him a liar and a cheat and keeps those shots firing at him, never giving him a chance to speak.
She was just insecure about a lot of things, and just basically everything I done, she thought I was just lying to her. And
He's known for lying. The ex, and then him going to a strip club when he's supposed to be hanging out with his friends when we came up to the agreement that we wasn't going to no dang on strip club.
for the most part, I have tried to be honest with her about a lot of things, and
Your
she
Honor.
couldn't handle the truth.
Look, when you've got some issues with the man you love, you talk about it, right? Unfortunately, that's not at all the case with Destiny here. She's one hot-headed woman, and even Judge Toller can see that, and it's got the court laughing for sure. But the trouble is that Destiny's always accusing Gary of something, and when he tries to communicate, she hits him.
She just never wanted to communicate. It was always frustration, always anger.
That's a lie.
You do have, you're angry now. You got there quickly. Your anger is, you run hot.
She want to get physical, hit me, like push me in my face, slap me, all type of stuff. I mean, she done these type of things.
Hold up though, because things are gonna get much spicier between these two. You've heard the usual stories about finding your partners out and about having sex and some fun with another person. Well, wait until you hear about how Gary found out that Destiny's been going behind his back, and that too in his house of all places. Just imagine his surprise when he walks in one day to find another man in bed with his wife.
Basically, I came home from work one day and I walked in my house and her and my friend was having sex.
Ms. McCraney, did that happen?
Yes, Your Honor, it did.
How long had you been married when that happened?
About a year and a half.
What precipitated that?
Because his cheating and lack of attention and lack of sex and everything else.
And the worst part? Destiny wanted to be caught. She wanted to hurt Gary. She wanted him to see her having sex with another man. God, could this get any worse? On top of that, she keeps on saying that he doesn't respect her. Woman, what? Is she in her senses? But Gary's having none of it. He stands his ground, and guess what he says to her despite all her lies?
I would never disrespect her in front of her family, in front of her, period, because she's my wife at the end of the day.
So nothing that could even be interpreted like that ever happened?
Not
That's a lie.
as far as me calling out her name, no.
What, as far as what? If you said as far as her calling out a name, have you said negative things about her to her family?
No, ma'am.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
No.
Destiny's got a lot of nerves. Boy, the way she keeps going on and on about how Gary went around town dragging her name in the mud. But Judge Toller's not having any of it, and she straight up asks Destiny if it was because she had slept with Gary's close friend. When Destiny reveals the answer, the court erupts in laughter. So it's pretty valid when Gary stops bringing money home.
When I caught her in the bed with my friend,
That was before.
I did stop.
That was
But you
before.
say he stopped long before that.
Before, yes.
Your primary complaint about her, she's just, other than the fact that she's jealous and slept with your friend, she doesn't act like a wife. She doesn't cook, she doesn't
she
clean,
doesn't- yeah, she
she's
don't
not
do none of
supportive.
that.
So, if there's one thing I can say for sure, it's this. This was definitely not a match made in heaven. Poor Gary's just been trying to do things right, and Destiny keeps on lashing out at him. Can he take it any longer? What does Judge Toller have to say about the mess they're in now? One thing's for sure, there's a lot to say.
I think you're hot-headed and that sleeping with the friend was out of anger. You're looking to hurt people. You're so insecure, you're so frightened that he's now lying about stuff that he doesn't need to lie about because he just don't want to tangle with you. You need to decide whether or not you two really want to put a period on everything that happened and move forward. This matter is adjourned.
Ah, the story of Kelvin and Jaharis is sure gonna knock you off your boots, especially when you hear all the things that Jaharis did. It's definitely a shocker because it gets the entire court booing and hooting at her. She marries this sweet, gentle man, and oh boy, the way she treats the guy just 2 years into the relationship? You're not gonna see that one coming.
Well, I would look through her cell phone and I would see text messages from other people, other guys wanting to meet up with her, which eventually led to her having an affair with one of her coworkers. Yes.
Now, was it an incident or was it an affair?
It was an affair.
And to rub salt into Kelvin's burning wounds, Jaharis admits that she did cheat on him. That guy looks so hurt and pained when she says that. You won't even believe the reasons for her cheating on her partner. She says he wasn't giving her much attention, so she thought, hey, why not go have an affair with other men?
I did cheat on him. It was because he wasn't showing me any attention after the 2 years of us being together. He wouldn't sleep with me. He outrolled myself at him and he will completely ignore it. So yes, I got close to a coworker.
So was there no intimacy at all, or is it
No.
was just infrequent?
It wasn't.
According to Jaharis, she kept throwing herself at Kelvin, but the man wouldn't even budge. But the reason why poor Kelvin wouldn't give her much time was because he spends all day at his job as a truck driver and would be too tired at the end for sex. But Jaharis didn't understand that. He tried to make her understand.
Oh, I'm tired,
You
baby.
weren't bobbing and weaving, were you?
Yes,
I was
yes.
just tired.
Yes, he was.
I was just tired all the time.
All the
She
time.
wasn't that tired to where when I came home, I caught her in bed with someone else. She wasn't tired then.
Jaharis just grew tired of Kelvin's lack of attention. She decided she was going to leave Kelvin for good, but Kelvin's still trying to make amends. And whenever he tries to make an effort to connect with her, she just goes out with her friends. So how is he supposed to make things work when she's always cutting him off? Then she sets Kelvin up.
What she's not telling you is when I did come home, she would go out with a friend.
He just slept with my friend.
When I first met her friend, 2 weeks after meeting her, I told her, Jaharis, this lady's not your friend. She's making hits at me, she's making moves at me.
So it makes sense why Kelvin has such huge trust issues. Jaharis would just leave the house and lie about coming back home early, and then she would be sneaking back inside late at night, and she would do it all the time. And she wouldn't even answer her phone. Kelvin would be at home alone taking care of the kids all by himself.
She would go out, I would say, Jaharis, why are you not answering your phone when I call you? Oh, I left my phone in the car, or I cut it off because I didn't want to lose it. I left it at the house or something like that. And I'm like, that's not a good thing to do when you got me here with the kids. What if somebody has to go to the emergency room? You don't know nothing.
No, I don't bring my phone out with me when we go to a bar or lounge or whatever it is because I don't want to lose it.
But it's not just all the lying and cheating and going around his back that's pushed Kelvin to the edge. It's how she never listens to him. As her husband, he's always there to give her advice and help her around, but she's always making him feel like he doesn't matter. If your own wife stops coming to you for help, that's surely going to have you down to the dumps for days.
I'm not trying to fire her, but she doesn't want anybody to listen to nobody but her.
That's not true.
I give Jaharis advice. She won't take advice from me, but if Joe or somebody else gives her advice, it's like somebody just turned the light on in the room and she's like, oh, I never knew about that.
That's not true.
I could tell her the exact same thing that you would tell her, and she won't listen to me because
It's
it came
not
from
just
me.
that.
Judge Toller gives them both a piece of her mind when both of them keep interrupting each other. It's not fair of them to keep being so dishonest with one another. All the financial issues and Jaharis never trying to understand what Kelvin's trying to say, then being petty and sleeping around with her coworkers. That's a no. Will they overcome their struggles, or will they break apart?
A married state of mind is, I'm willing to be unhappy for a little while and ride this rough road with you as opposed to find my comfort elsewhere. That's a married state of mind. There's never a point at which the relationship gets a win. We're not doing that. Good luck to the both of you. This matter is adjourned.
Mr. Lucas, standing tall in the court with some sunglasses on because of his glaucoma, wants to sue his wife for a whopping $2,500. That's a big amount, and that's a pretty specific amount on his part. And there's a reason why. It's the amount that'll take him to upgrade his car, and he sure as hell isn't gonna back down until he gets what he wants.
Mr. Lucas, you have brought Mrs. Lucas here to court in order to recover either 2000 Camry that you said you upgraded or the value of the upgrades that you put in the Camry that you say she took. And I know that you're wearing sunglasses, which usually is not permitted in a courtroom, but I understand that you have an eye issue, glaucoma, and the lights are bothering you.
So, now having a nice husband who respects and loves you and cares for you is some big sin? Just what's wrong with Mrs. Lucas? How ungrateful can she get? Doesn't she know what men and women have to tolerate? Mrs. Lucas called her husband stalkerishly nice, and whenever he told her he loved her, she kept waiting for him to hit her.
Mrs. Lucas, Mr. Lucas says you had a great relationship.
Yes, we had a wonderful relationship. We were like best friends. I believe, he's my soulmate. Everything was fine except he was too nice, like it was scary nice. You know the people it was like stalkerish nice, like you too nice.
In fact, Mr. Lucas was so good to her, he made her fat. Can you believe it? This man would cook her whole-ass 3-course meals to make sure his wife was well-fed, but this woman found a way to have some sort of problem with that too. Mr. Lucas was heaven-sent, but all Mrs. Lucas does is nitpick and act like a spoiled child who doesn't deserve anything good.
Mrs. Lucas, have you lost your mind?
No.
They won't cook, they won't clean, they won't pick up the house, they're controlling, they're unkind. You have got a guy who tells you that he loves you without being prompted or looking for sex.
Judge Toller is so mad at Mrs. Lucas. She's so angry and tells her that she needs to grow up because enough is enough. How can someone be so foolish and stupid to reject a man who's absolutely wonderful and lovely like Mr. Lucas? She's acting like a big brat right now, and everyone in the court thinks the same. And then, she's been hiding a big secret.
Because he cooked before he left. When I came in, there was food there. Or when he came in, he would bring me food at 3:30 in the morning.
When did you get the comedy bug? What did you tell him about it?
Actually, this is the first time telling him about it. I would
How long
change
have
the
you been
subject.
doing it?
A year.
It's pretty clear that Mrs. Lucas doesn't respect her husband at all. On top of that, she takes his car and tells him she'll be back, but she never returns with the car. And she keeps making fun of Mr. Lucas in front of everyone, and Judge Toller straight up scolds her. She won't tolerate that on her watch. Now, what happens with the car?
The car is gone.
Gone where?
It got totaled. We had an ice storm in Chicago. Somebody ran into it and tore it up. So I told them just junk it. There was nothing I could do with it.
Whose responsibility was to pay the insurance? Was it your responsibility to pay the insurance?
It's my responsibility to make the money. She write out the checks to pay the bills.
Judge Toller knows that Mr. Lucas is a wonderful man. Everyone in the courtroom cheers for Mr. Lucas because he's such a pure-hearted man who still wants to do things for his wife. Any other woman would want him. So the judge has plenty to say to Mrs. Lucas, who's been acting so foolishly.
I am sure that your choice in men, if it's based upon the silly things that you have told me here today, will put you in a place where you don't want to be. But you are so small-minded and trifling that you don't even put their interests ahead of yours. How dare you be so self-centered? Judgment in favor of Mr. Lucas in the amount of $2,500. It is so ordered.